Hey, everybody.
Hi,
We
so
are,
happy to be here with you.
yeah, so happy to have you here with us today. If you don't know who we are, I am Hillary Buchholz, and I'm here, as always, with the amazing and talented Patty
Oh,
Quinn.
oh, please.
We are
Gonna,
the co
I'm gonna blush.
we are the co-founders of We Heart Hounds, and we're so excited because we also have a very special guest with us today as
We
well.
do. We do. I'm just bubbling out of my seat. I'm super excited today. We have Susan Briggs, and unfortunately, her dynamic duo, better half, Robin Bennett, wasn't able to make it here today. Robin, we miss you, and we'll bring you back again. We're super excited. We'll bring you back. But these wonderful powerhouse women are known as the dog gurus, and we're super excited to have them with us today. They've been in the dog industry for, oh my gosh, over 20 years, and they bring this amazing, vast knowledge and experience to help people start their own pet care businesses, which I am just so excited about. I just, maybe in another life I'll get to do that someday. I would love to just surround myself with all kinds of dogs and cats and all kinds of good stuff. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Susan.
Oh, I'm so happy to join you and be able to hopefully share some information that will make the relationship better with your audience and their dogs.
You bet. You bet. You bet.
So before we jump into some of the topics that we have, if you could just give us a little bit of background on how you guys got started and kind of the backstory of the dog gurus, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting because Robin and I both in separate parts of the country. I've been in Houston, Texas. Robin was in Virginia. We were both what we would probably say were some of the pioneers offering dog daycare services.
Wow.
And so we were both doing that in the late 90s, early 2000, which is hard to believe with the popularity of daycare today. But both of us had to explain to our potential clients why we would even bring a dog to doggy daycare. It's just hard to even remember those days. But so we both were independently operating dog daycares. And when we were together at different trade shows and events, we knew each other. And Robin had written a book all about dog daycare, which is still the #1 resource on getting a daycare started. And I had heard Robin speak and talk about the importance of having well-trained staff. And I started thinking about kind of how we did that because the service was new. There wasn't a lot of resources out there.
Right.
And so went looking for resources to basically teach staff canine body language, which is one of the main things that anybody supervising dog play needs to really understand. And there wasn't anything out there that was appropriate to really train staff. Everything was a little too scientific. I mean, I even tried to read it and my brain was just like hurting. My team will never get through this. And so, you get creative because you want to train staff. And, I kind of did something on my own, but reached out to Robin and said, would you be interested in writing a book about this that would be kind of a resource for people to train their team? I think it's needed as daycare gets more popular. So we did that in 2007. And then because canine body language is a very visual learning process, we had people say, the book is great. The pictures in the book are great, but we really want video. And so Robin and I decided, okay, we can do that. We can, get video. And I think if we knew how hard it was going to be when we started, it never would have come to fruition. But we did create a staff training program called Knowing Dogs that is used professionally since 2010. It's been around so long that it started on DVD and then it went to USB and now it's online. But the program's the same because, canine body language doesn't change. The way dogs communicate is the same today as it was 10 years ago. So we're very proud of that program. We know we've helped a lot of pet businesses train their teams and keep dogs safe in daycare, which is really the passion that Robin and I shared when we were working together. And so in 2013, we had both sold our own pet care businesses and just wanted to provide more resources and help. And so we started a membership site for pet care professionals called the Dog Gurus. And so for the past 7 years, we've just been helping them not only with their daycares, but also with their businesses.
Okay,
Awesome.
wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, and it's funny when you were saying that sometimes things that take a lot of time and extra effort, if you knew ahead of time how much it was going to take, but those things end up being phenomenal, right? Because you wouldn't have dove in to do it, and it's such a great reward because of the effort and everything. So super excited for that. So I thought it would be fun, and I think Hillary too, to start talking about puppies.
I know, because puppies are the best, actually.
So we're because the whole wide world of dogs and pet care and all that just can't get over the warm, fuzzy little fur kids. So if anybody, I'm going to just take a second real quick. If anybody has any questions about doggy daycare or puppies or training or anything like that, please be sure to enter your comments below, and we'll take some questions here at the end. But so this year been kind of crazy, and a little bit crazy good, because more people are home. They're spending more time with their dogs. They're fostering more dogs or adopting more dogs, which is just wonderful, right? Phenomenal. But I was wondering if you could tell us, so for the folks at home that have teeny tiny little fur babies, the little puppies, you have a program I would love for them to know a little bit more about. It's an online training video guide, right? Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
Absolutely. It's called Raising Your Puppy. And Robin, who can't be here, created this program. Robin is a certified professional dog trainer. So she has certification and has done dog training for, she would kill me if I said how long, but it's been a long time. And so when she got her last puppy, Ranger, she decided that one of the gaps she saw as a trainer was the time period when the puppy joined the home and the time when it was really safe and people were bringing their dogs into puppy courses and classes.
Right.
So she created this program that's online, so it's can be done by anybody in the privacy of your home, to help them make decisions, even prepare for the puppy, and do it in little short bites, because we know puppies have short attention spans. And so it's a series that provides weekly tips and ideas and videos of how you can get the puppy comfortable in the home and help build that relationship, and as well as start teaching obedience cues and even just fun stuff. So there's it's really to cover from, typically a puppy will join the household about 8 weeks up until 6 months. And puppies are little sponges. They can learn so much. And I think sometimes we don't get them started young enough. And the other thing with learning, I mean, physical exercise is important, but even in our daycares and things that we encourage with our professionals is using minds. That will make dogs more tired often than just exercise. And so it's good. You just have to do it in short segments. And Robin had this course, Raising Your Puppy. It's all online, and it will give you a weekly checklist of things to cover and gives you short videos, like 2 minutes. So it's easy for the whole family to get involved in the training and working with the puppies. So you have your checklist of what to work on this week. You also get a private Facebook group where you can be get feedback and ask questions about your puppy. Robin will be on there, but you also have other puppy owners, so you're not alone in raising a puppy. Which, you know, a lot of us that we've had senior dogs, you go through that, and then you get a puppy. And I remember I have a dog who's 3, and it's like, oh my gosh, I forgot how hard a puppy was. And, I mean, you just need that support network to get you through those. You know, you love them. That's why they're so cute. Because, you know, and the Robin's program also has tips for some of those typical puppy troubleshooting things, like the biting and the house training and jumping. And so you can go right, if you're having a problem, you can find a video that will help you troubleshoot some of those problems. So it's a wonderful program to get your puppy started off on the right foot. We still think finding a local professional trainer is great for a puppy, but this kind of gets you started before you get there.
Well, and one of the things I like about that, just real quick, is that even if you do get a professional trainer, it helps kind of supplement your own practice skills, right? Reinforce the practicing at home, which is really, really great.
Yeah.
Super.
And I think it would be great to get the kids involved. I mean, they're, doing virtual learning. They can do virtual learning and help train your puppy. So
Yeah,
be
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it's got like the checklist and things. So you kind of have your roadmap for it that, it can be easy enough for those kids to follow along, and they have their own little piece of the puzzle to kind of help that puppy as well. And it helps to build the bond with the whole family. So that's huge.
Yeah, it is.
And if anybody's interested in that program, let us know in the comments below. We'll put a link to that so that you can go out and get that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Robin also recommends, her favorite, supplies and toys and shoes. So there's a great kind of shopping list of things if you are thinking about getting a puppy and haven't yet, go ahead and sign up so you can have everything ready when they come home.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. That's super.
Yeah. So kind of transitioning from that puppyhood into a little bit more of that adolescent, the kind of getting a little bit older dogs, do you have some tips of, how to continue building that bond and kind of keeping them engaged, and some tips for that? So I've got a 2-year-old basset hound right now, so I'm definitely all ears for this one.
Yeah, I love those basset ears. Oh my God.
I know.
There's nothing better. What is really popular in our professional world right now is enrichment activities for dogs. Again, using that mental or their sense of smell and nose, and making them work to find things. And so there's some really fun enrichment activities. A lot of it does work with treats, so you may want to feed them a little less breakfast or dinner, so that they can get some of their meal as far as actually working for it and having to find it. And there's some fun things you can do at home. One of our favorite there's puzzle toys out there you can buy, but you don't have to. You can make your own. One of our favorites is called the muffin tin game. So if you just get like your muffin tin, and you can put treats in, some of them, but not all of them, and then put like tennis balls or some kind of little balls on top. And the dog has to pick the ball up to get the treat. And so, you may have to start out with at least one that's not got a ball over it until the dog figures out, if they haven't done a puzzle toy. So we think the muffin tin game's fun. I know you guys did snuffle mats. We love snuffle mats. I mean, I think that's another great way for the dogs to use their nose and find the browsing for food.
Yeah, we actually did a muffin tin game as well. And another tip, another version of that is flipping the muffin tin over.
Yeah.
And then putting the tennis balls in between the little mounds, as it were. Yep. So it's like mounds and valleys instead of kind of the little cups. And then again, sprinkling treats around that and having, so it's kind of a little easier version because they can see it or smell it, but they're still having to navigate these little mounds and valleys, which is fun too. So
it is. And they really do enjoy it. And it's good to have, think about the difficulty levels. So you start out easy and then let it get harder. And for dogs that really love using their nose, just doing, we call it kind of like nose work, where you can use empty boxes. I know everybody's getting stuff shipped in and have several empty boxes sit around and have your dog. It's great if they can kind of, sit and stay. So you can work on that first and then show treats and then act like you're dropping it in every box, but only drop it in one, and then have the dog go find the treat in the box.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, you start with the boxes open, and then as they get better at it, you can, close one flap or two flaps. But they really do enjoy hunting for their food, and you can spread them out and use different types of boxes. And you can go from boxes to, different, bags. I'm like a real bag person. When I go somewhere, I love different bags. So you can, again, make it harder or easier for the dog. So, there's a lot of things you can do with food that's kind of enriching. The other thing that I like is not only food, but can build confidence and help dogs deal with kind of unknown or different textures or things, is to create kind of your own obstacle course. And have, it might be good to have two people, but you can set it up like in a hallway with different textures of things on the floor, or they might need to go over something or under something. You can use like broom handles, kind of zigzag, and then Once you get your course set up, stand on the other side and call your dog to you, and they have to figure out how to make their way through the obstacle course. And again, you can start easy and then get harder, and it's great for puppies. If you had kids, one person can be with the dog and then the other one call them. But it's a fun way, and it's always going to change. The obstacle course is the same, so just get creative. Just make sure that you're not doing anything that's scary to your dog, or introduce that to them very slowly, so they get used to anything new that they haven't experienced. But obstacle courses are a lot of fun for the people and the dogs.
I love that idea. That one is one, because Lulu, that's my Basset, is so timid. So anything that's new is like something that she's really wary of. So something like the obstacle course that would kind of slowly let her get accustomed to things are going to change, and there's a reward for being brave and letting her go through it. Like, I love that idea.
Yeah. And you can start short. So especially with a timid dog, start short, just 2 or 3 obstacles. And as she gets better and gains confidence, it can get bigger. But it is really good for building dog confidence. And you can put different textures, something crinkly on the floor. Again, you want to give them the option not to walk on it until they're more confident. But you can really help build confidence and have fun at the same time.
I love that. Yeah. It reminds me of all the videos I've seen of everybody this year stacking a wall of toilet paper and having that get higher and higher, and the pups running down the hallway over one thing of toilet paper, and then 2 and 3. But I love it because it's safe, if they, and when it gets so high, they just walk right through it, right? Like, it's hysterical. They just break the wall apart and stuff. So all those kinds of games are just so much fun. And, you could spend an afternoon with your pup, just really having a lot of fun together, and they love it. It does help build a bond. It does build their confidence. I love all these ideas. These are great. These are great. That's super.
We all need a little fun at home. We're all getting kind of, I think, a little cabin fever. Some new fun things to do with our dogs.
Yeah, exactly. So, in kind of tagging into that line of, everybody being at home, obviously school's going to be starting. People are starting to transition back to work. Every place is a little bit different. But I know everybody was super excited at the beginning of this year in terms of being able to spend more time with their pups, right? Those that, have to go to work, and they, their heart breaks every day when they say goodbye to their pups, and is, completely elated again at the end of the day when they get to come home and say hi to their pups and spend the evenings together. And now that we've been able to have more time with our pups, thinking about the reverse now, going back to the new normal, and, maybe not spending quite as much time as you have with your pups, and certainly with the kiddos, spending lots of time with your pups, and now them going off to school. What would you recommend for this transition? I mean, should we be worried about how our dogs are feeling about all of this? I mean, obviously they don't know what's going on and why these things are happening. How do we deal with something like that?
Yeah, for a lot of dogs, there is going to be a real risk of developing something we call separation anxiety. And that can be at many different levels. It can be, a lot of dogs have a mild case, some have none. And then some, it gets really severe where there's, destructive tendencies.
Yeah.
So it's important, and I have to focus on this with even my own dogs, and I know this, is to leave them for short time periods. And if you haven't been leaving them at all, you can just do it just 1 to 2 minutes and then come back and see how they reacted. If they were really concerned, whining, scratching at the door, then you probably do need to make sure that you build up to being able to leave for longer periods before you go back to work, because you could have a problem. But you can start to emulate your normal routine of what you'll have when you're going to work. So if you have a briefcase and your purse and pick up the keys, you just want to do that, say goodbye to the dog, and then walk out the door. And even if you just go out of sight for 2 minutes, 1 minute to start, and then, come back. And it's important not to get too overly exuberant in the greeting when you come back. give them 30 seconds to really just, you can say hello, but don't,
you kind of want to treat it as a normal thing, right?
Exactly.
Like as not a, oh my gosh, I'm home, and not, and then you're ramping up their energy levels too, right? You just want to keep everybody fairly calm, and this is normal, and I leave and I come back and everything's still okay, right?
Right, exactly. And then, actually, a lot of them key in on hearing the car come and go. So you work up to actually getting in the car, even if you just drive around the block and then come back. Again, doing these little steps, depending on how your dog responds, will help a lot. And, just going out, I think it's good for all of us to go out and leave your dog home in a safe place to where they'll be safe and spend time alone. But you can, try to work up, maybe go out and have coffee, something that would take maybe an hour, and then come back and then slowly build up time away before you're gone for, 8, 12 hours, whatever your normal work day is.
Right.
I think it's also good, to consider having a professional, dog walker, pet sitter, come in and do a midday walk. Maybe if you hadn't had to do that in the past, you might want to do that for a while again as the dog gets used to it, or, go to the daycare, which is what we also recommend.
What about walking your dog first thing in the morning, like before you leave for work, like getting him tired? Does that help a little bit? I mean, especially if you've got a really anxious dog.
Absolutely. Doing the physical exercise is good, and maybe even a short little, puzzle toy or something to use the brain before they leave. Some of them are safe to leave with them. Like when I leave, I often use stuffed Kongs for my dog, because I think sometimes if they're engaged right away when you leave, they don't focus. They're so engaged, they are focused on the food treat more than you leaving. Can also work. And the thing is, every dog is different and will respond differently. So you just really have to figure out what works for your dog and your situation. But definitely physical exercise before you leave helps.
Okay.
And you obviously mentioned doggy daycare. Do you have a suggestion on how somebody, if you've never had doggy daycare, you've never put your dog in doggy daycare, do you have some suggestions or tips on how to choose the right daycare or what to look for those daycares?
Yeah, it is really hard to know how to pick the right daycare for you and your dog. And so, this is what Robin and I definitely specialize in, is helping daycares operate to provide the best care quality for the dogs. And so there's really two key things for daycares to stay safe. One is how they train their staff. And as we talked about at the beginning, staff do need to understand canine body language and how to intervene and even recognize what is fun play and safe play versus behaviors that we would say would be inappropriate between dogs. So asking how they train their staff and how much training they have is one key thing. The other key thing is, how do they evaluate the dogs to ensure that they have the right social skills and actually enjoy being in daycare and playing with other dogs? Because not all dogs do. So don't feel like if your dog doesn't enjoy daycare that you failed as a pet parent, because you haven't. Not all dogs enjoy it, and that's okay. But the ones that do, there should be a social dog evaluation or screening of the dogs prior to putting them in with the other groups. And then the staff should physically be with the dogs 100% of the time when they're out in groups together. They shouldn't be, watching from another play yard or through a camera or something. They need to be physically present with the dogs. And you should actually see a ratio of about one staff person for every 10 to 15 dogs to keep things safe. So those are kind of the key things to ask about. If you can find a daycare that actually has certified professionals on board, that's great. But our professional certification for lodging and daycare and dog walking and pet sitting is very new. But you can check out the Professional Animal Care Certification Council, which is paccert.org. And they do have a list of professionals that have actually taken an independent exam and have been certified that they know what it takes to be a provider, manager, or operator in professional pet care.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So it looks like, hi, Melissa. Thanks for being with us today. We've got a question from Melissa. She said, or a comment, she says, her daycare facilities are limited. Most won't take her dog because she's a show dog and still intact.
Yes. Yeah. And you can look around and find some that will. The other thing would be see if you can find a daycare that's providing like enrichment daycare. So maybe day lodging where they're not playing with other dogs, but they're doing some special enrichment or activities. And a lot of places will do that with intact dogs. And so find out what other activities they have beyond social dog daycare. And there's a lot that offer that for day lodging or why dogs are boarding. And so they don't necessarily have to play with other dogs in group, and they'll still have a really great day out.
Okay. So they basically spend, like, they have one-on-one time with somebody.
Exactly. And which
that's
we know
like,
that's what our dogs really
yeah.
want.
Like, sign me up for that.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert, so that would be my preferred. My dogs would probably probably work with that. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you for Melissa. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to jot them down. We're winding up, but we did have a couple of people write in some questions ahead of time. So let me read. We've got one question here. Is there a minimum age your dog should be before putting him into daycare?
That's a great question, and I would say yes. I would. Unless they have a special puppy program. And we really encourage a lot of our members to create special programs for puppies under 6 months.
Okay.
Because there is so much going on as far as the stages of development of puppies up until 6 months that they are best in a special program focused on puppies. By about 6 months of age, they kind of have more maturity and have been through some of those critical phases to where I think it's safer for them to go into an adult daycare.
Okay.
We kind of talk about it's like they may be playing the same game like football, at the pee-wee level, at the junior high level, high school, college. They all play football, but it's at a different intensity.
Right.
And that's the issue with putting young puppies into adult play groups. It can get a little too intense. And
a little rough.
Yeah.
That's
why. Yeah. And there are some great puppy programs out there. Some professional centers are really catering to puppies and creating really good programs that can help not only with socialization, with other dogs, but exposing them to a lot of those things we talk about, that they'll have confidence. And also just maybe even helping with house training and crate training, which I think is a great life skill. So, reach out to your professional pet care providers and ask them what kind of puppy programs they have.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And then we also had another question asking, how do you transition if you're going to start taking your dog to daycare? Is there sort of do you go just once a week or for an hour? Like, what is that transition as you're starting to enter into daycare if you've never been in daycare before?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the great providers will help. Once they've done a social evaluation on your dog, they should make a recommendation.
Okay.
Personally, I think most dogs do not need to go every day. I think it can be too much. They can get overtired, depending on the energy level of your dog. Once a week may be right, or twice a week. Some dogs daycare can be great for older dogs too, but they may enjoy it every other week. So I would ask the professional provider based on what they've seen. A lot of places, do offer half days. So you could start out with half days. You want a provider that's going to communicate honestly with what they're seeing about the behavior of your dog, because we say daycare should be for those dogs that are enjoying it, not just tolerating it. And some dogs do need to build up to that, or some never enjoy it. It's just they're more of an introvert, and that's okay. But a professional pet care center will tell you honestly, like, I don't think this is the best program. Let's do this, which may be a more enrichment based, to where they get some time with other dogs, but then they get some one-on-one activities.
Right. And so if somebody like Melissa has a limited choice in the local facilities available to her, can she ask for a specific enrichment day for her dog one-on-one, or a puppy program, just even if their puppy is the only puppy? Like, can you ask for special things like that?
Yeah, because they may just not think about people would want that. So I would ask, and if they're not sure how to provide it, send them to us, because we've got lots of
call you.
resources. Yeah, we would love to help them meet the needs of their community. And that, that's what businesses do, is they respond to the needs and demands in the community. And I can tell you right now, that's kind of the challenge that some of our professional pet care centers are having. We're used to doing a lot of lodging and boarding in the summer, and people don't want that. And we were on a Facebook Live with our groups yesterday saying, reach out to your customers and ask them what they need, and then help solve that for them. So absolutely tell them, this is what I'd love to have. Could you come up with it for me? And what would it cost?
Right. Yeah. So as pet parents out there, you have more power, more choices maybe than you really think you have. So it doesn't hurt to ask, right? I mean, all they can do is say no, and you can go on to the next one and ask, right? And
absolutely. Yes.
So, yeah, I think that's great. Wow. That's wonderful. I love this.
I know.
This is fantastic. Thank you so much, Susan, for being with us today. Robin, we're thinking of you. We hope you gals come back. Well, we're planning you gals to come back. So that's a given. And can't wait to have you back. Until then, what's the best way for folks to learn more about you, or contact you, connect with you in whatever way?
Yes, we have a website. It's the dog gurus, GURUS.com. And so you can find the puppy course there. We have a store, and then online courses. You can find Raising Your Puppy. And, if you do want to refer your professional provider to us for anything, we are happy to talk to them and serve them and help them serve you better and make their business better at the same time.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's great. That's great. Well, before we say goodbye, we've got a fun announcement to make. Yay, we have a giveaway winner. Yay. I love ending these with giveaways. Yes, I know. So big, huge thanks to Robin and Susan for donating an amazing prize. Oh my gosh. Raising the Puppy, that online course, is the prize that the lucky winner gets to win. So Hillary, do you want to announce who the winner is?
So our winner was Melissa Chandler Dubé. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that last name correctly.
But well, thank you, Melissa. That's great.
Yeah, we will DM you and get in contact with you so that you can get access to this program. So I'm very excited for you.
We're excited. Thank you.
We got a new puppy program entrance. So that's great. Oh, we're so excited. Thank you again so much, Susan, for being with us today. And thank you, everybody, for joining the live. And if you're watching on the replay, we're happy to have you here. And feel free to continue to ask questions. As I said, we're going to get Susan and Robin, these amazing dog gurus, back again. They've just got so much wonderful stuff to share. We just love to share it with you. So thanks again.
We're happy to do it. And thank you for having me.
Oh, you bet. Anytime. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Hug your pups for us. Bye-bye.